Good day po. We are the student from Gagwa National Colleges Incorporated, and now we will interview you from our performance task for contemporary arts from the regions. And now, our first question is, could you please introduce yourself and describe what you do in your artistic field? In Tagalog, maaari mo bang ipakilala ang iyong sarili at ilarawan kung ano ang ginagawa mo sa iyong artistikong larangan?
Short background about me is I am currently a public school teacher, so I've been teaching for 6 years. For my undergraduate study, I have studied Don Honorio Ventura State University, back then now Pampanga State University, and currently taking up my master's degree. I am now writing my thesis, and the title of my thesis is The Man Will Live, a deconstruction on Don Monico Mercado's Matea in Tao. So about the artistic field, I have experience in terms of stage production and of course the culture and the arts, especially the theater.
So how did you first become interested in theater play?
So way back before, I know that the curriculum in English now is different. That was in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So in that moment, we have this subject, one of our subjects, the title of our subject, the course title is Speech and Stage Arts. So with that subject, we have encountered and we have learned about theater production, script writing, playwright writing. So that's one of the interesting parts of that subject.
Okay po. Our third question is, how did you develop your skills?
I develop my skills. I don't usually act. I write scenes, act 1, act 2, act 3 in developing a play. So basically, I could call myself a playwright.
And
A simple playwright.
And ano po yung mga kakayahan na yun, sir? Paano niyo po na ano?
Of course, you have to love your craft. You have to love theater. If you don't love it, of course, in everything we do, we must put our heart in it. So important. The foundation of everything is you love what you do.
Okay po.
And do what you love.
Fourth question, what challenges have you faced in pursuing this art?
Pursuing this, being a writer for some of the mini performances, I think one of the challenges is sometimes we have this what we call creative blockage. I know this was discussed in creative writing. Sometimes you don't have the creative juices. You try to extract everything inside your mind, but sometimes you don't have that motivation or that spark to write. But of course, you must find it in writing.
Okay.
Because if you don't find it, you can't write anything. Simple as that.
Okay. The fifth question, sir, what achievement or moment in your craft are you most proud of?
One of the achievements or moments in my craft is, I think, when you put yourself into writing, when you write a certain act or a scene, and what you have visualized during when you were writing was put into performance, then it is what you have visualized, then it's an accomplishment for me. And if the characters portrayed their role very well, then it's a good thing for me. It's an accomplishment.
Okay po. The sixth question, how would you describe your creative or working process?
Speaking of process, of course, we have to, in creativity, we have to trust the process. We were not born to be, what I mean is that we were not born to be perfect. Of course, in writing, in terms of theater, in terms of production, it is the process that makes us a better version of what we were before. So you have to trust the process. All the setbacks, all the downfalls, all the struggles will make a better version of us in the mystery or in the process of becoming.
Okay po. The seventh question, what inspires your work?
What inspires my work are the books that I've read. course, and the plays that I write, one of the best play that I have watched until now, I am always rewatching it, is Hamilton. It's the story of Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. You better watch it, it's very interesting.
The eighth question, what themes or ideas do you usually highlight in your art?
Of course, we have to focus on certain issues. Like back then, people back then are, of course, you will never go wrong. You could never go wrong in terms of love. Of course, love, poverty. Example, nowadays you could choose corruption because it will arouse your audience's interest.
Okay po. Sir, dun po sa question number 8, ano po yung pinaka nagawa niyo pong theater play or as a stage art or yun?
What do you mean? What do you mean pinaka nagawa is siguro when we were in college, it's the performance of New Yorker in Tondo. It's a very interesting story. It's about I will not tell if my memory serves right. I haven't. What I mean is, wait, let me recall. So it's a great production because everyone in the class participated, and the output is so nice.
The ninth question, how does your art reflect Filipino culture or your local community? In Tagalog, paano nasasalamin sa iyong sining ang kulturang Filipino o ang iyong lokal na komunidad?
Of course, as cliche as it may sound, literature mirrors life. Ang panitikan ay sinasalamin ng buhay. Of course, you have to see what is really happening in the society, what is really happening in the society. It reflects our ideals, our visions. So basically, you have, if this kind of art is like an advocacy in which you awaken something and you inspire someone based on your work, your play or your playwright.
In 10th question, in what ways do you help preserve or promote local culture through your work?
Local cultures, of course, before we dive with another country, we must prioritize or, of course, patronize what we have in the Philippines. Our place or our art should reflect our own identity, the Filipino people, our values.
11th question, are there national artists you look up to?
One of my favorite national artists in the field of literature is Nicomedes Joaquin or Nick Joaquin, and his what do you call that one? His pen name is Quijano de Manila. He's a very good writer in terms of Philippine literature in English, and his works are celebrated until now.
And the question po then is, sir, paano ka po niya na-influence or ni-inspire sa paggawa niya?
Because of his writing style, his writing strokes, and based on his works, like the Medieval, basically, when you look up to someone, you try to adopt, and of course, you have to twist it to have your own version. The way he writes, the way he delivers or execute his words into writing.
The 12th question po, what qualities or values do you think you share with someone of them? In Tagalog, anong mga katangian o pagpapahalaga ang sa tingin mo ay pareho mo sa ilan sa kanila?
The love for writing, I think. It's the love for writing. Of course, you cannot write when you are not inspired. I think most of the time, Nick Joaquin is inspired. You cannot write, just like in teaching, you cannot write what you don't know. So before being a good writer or being a good playwright or in a production, you must read a lot of things. You must do your research because what is really happening in reality must be reflected or must be transferred on the production.
The last question, what message would you like to give to young people who want to pursue this art?
What message? Go. Continue. What message?
Would you like to give to young people who want to pursue this art?
Okay, one message is, I believe, is beginning is always the hardest. When you when you start things, you may find it not easy to do, but as time passes by, as time goes by, you will get the hang of it. You will learn how to do it. All the struggles, all the mistakes, those are the lessons that will be a great use for the future. And remember that it is always the process. As I was saying a while ago, you have to trust the process. We were not born perfect. We are still in the process of becoming the best version of ourselves.
Okay, sir, thank you po for today and God bless.
You're welcome.